Hey, and we're back. And guess what I found here in Paraguay? A genuine fuel filter. I even found it here in Camp 9. Didn't even have to go to Ascension or Ciudad del Este here, or I guess City of the East. That still sounds very wrong in English. But Ciudad del Este, known as CDE or Ascension. I was able to actually get this here in Camp 9, which was really handy. We're gonna put it into the Kawasaki now, and we're gonna see if that's gonna take care of that problem completely. If that's not gonna fix it, then we'll probably have to be upgrading the fuel pump on it. Hopefully, I don't have to do it. I want to get through the summer without any more issues. Really don't want to take the whole thing apart again. But let's get started on that process. I will take you guys on the journey with me. This time I'm gonna show a little bit more detail on how to actually do it if you guys want to follow along. And if you're just here for an entertaining video again, I'll try to make it a little bit more entertaining than last time. So let's get started. So taking into consideration everything I did wrong last time, we are now gonna start by removing the handlebar plastics. That way that whole piece is out of the way. We have to remove them in the end anyways. Then we're gonna start removing the side covers to get access to the screws that are on there. But first, let's remove the seats, and then we'll start with those plastics as well. But before we do anything, I am quickly gonna check how much fuel we have in there, because I really don't want to exchange that fuel again. But I also don't want to have a surprise once I open up the filter itself that there's gonna be fuel falling, or I guess fuel pouring out of the actual fuel tank at the bottom. So let's quickly check. Halfway full, we should be okay. We should be able to remove the pump without any of the extra fuel coming out of the tank, because it is not exactly 100% level. But we should be okay to just open it up without it over pouring. So let's get started with the whole process. First off, we're gonna remove the seats, starting with one, and seat number 2. I guess in theory they're exactly backwards, but not important for the video. Let's start by removing those plastic panels. For this, you need a hex key, and since I have the little power tool that takes hex keys, we're just quickly gonna get those in. Make sure to unscrew them, not tighten them even more or over tighten them into the plastics. Get those two out of the way. Now, I am still missing some of the screws around here at the base. I think in total I am missing, oh, I'm just missing one for now, but I am missing screws on the plastic covers here, which apparently either did not come installed from the factory, or they kind of got loose with the vibrations over time. So I do have to get those new screws as well. And like I said, I am missing one screw from the handlebar plastics here. So I should probably grab those eventually as well. Now in total you have 6 screws. If you have all the original screws from the manufacturer, I only have 5. With 4 of them I can access with my little drill, and 1 of them I have to take out manually since I don't have enough room to get to it with the drill piece. But with a mini socket and the little adapter for the hex, yeah, well, let's put that in the correct way, like that, and nope, screw it out, remove the final little screw that's in here. In theory I should have 2, but like I said, I'm missing 1 of them. So this is my last screw from the plastics, and we're gonna see if I can remove the whole back plastic a little easier this time. And we're gonna try not to break it again. It is a little bit finicky, but that's the final screw. Okay, with the screws removed, we now get to remove the front plastic. You have to lift this up a little bit and remove this whole thing. Now do be careful, there is a sensor or an alarm right in here, this one. It is nested right up there in that little pocket that it has there. So don't just jank it off, make sure to also remove that little beeper or alarm. I guess it is I am assuming it is an alarm because it looks something like it, but I'm not exactly sure. So do remove that, don't just rip it off. And with that now removed, we can try to remove this back plastic. Now, if you remember my previous videos, this is the one that I said I had a little bit of issues with. Just making sure I removed all these screws again. And I did, and it still has a ton of pressure. Now, if I'm not mistaken, I can just, yeah, this is gonna be a little harder than I thought. Since I don't have this whole plastic loosened up, it's still very tight. But if you push to the back, just like this, and on this side as well, make sure not to clamp your cable off right there. Apply a bit of pressure. Okay, I thought this was gonna be easier. Apply a bit of pressure right there, and you should be able to remove it. Nope, not true. Yeah, my suggestion would be to remove this whole, loosen this whole plastic area, and then do this cover, taking this cover off. That would make it a lot easier. But since you already started it this way, I am determined to finish it this way. No, we're not gonna finish it this way. Whew. Yeah, take off these side covers. I did say I was gonna show you guys a better way than last time. I never said it was gonna be perfect. So let's get the side covers taken off. As you guys can see, there is one screw right here, and on this side, on the inside right there as well. And I would assume on most of them there's gonna be 3 little screws along the inside here. Now, mine only has 2 of them on the inside currently. I'm not exactly sure if the vibrations knocked them loose, if they are still in there somewhere. I was gonna look for them, but we are gonna wait a little bit longer with that to see if there's anything in there. But let's quickly remove these. That one. There is one in here. We are gonna loosen that up as well. Right there. And on the other side, we're gonna remove those 2 as well. Right here. And make sure not to lose the washers. We're also gonna remove this one on the inside. Now, don't hold your screws over the engine bay like that. Make sure to place them in a safe space somewhere so you don't lose the other screws as well. Now, with these 4 screws removed, we only need to remove 2 more nuts. Now, with those 4 screws removed, we're only gonna loosen these 2 nuts here as well. This one and this one. Now, a little trick that I normally do to not lose where each little screw and nut goes is I replace them into the holes where they came from to store them. Yeah, be careful not to lose these. You kind of need them. But once you have the side plastics off, put the nuts and screws back into their places so you know where they actually go later on. Now, with the 1 nut and 2 screws removed on the back, you should be able to just lift it up. Now, this front piece is a little tricky because it is wedged underneath right there, but you should be able to just pop it off just like that. And yeah, I may have over-tightened it slightly. I didn't want to lose it as well. You remove these and you're good to go. And with that, we have the first side cover taken off. On to the next side. Now, on this side, it's a little trickier because you do have the lever for back and forwards, but I found if you push it all the way to the back, you start removing the side piece as well, but then you can start removing it by pushing it to the back, pushing in your reverse lever lifting it up and over. With you pushing it in, you can remove it a little further back and you can unhook them. So I'm just quickly gonna place the nuts and screws into their proper holes and we'll continue. Now while we are here, by this lever right in here, you have a little ball joint holding the actual cable that is moving the flap back there to reverse and forwards. And that ball joint, I would suggest you remove it at this stage before you do anything else. It's just gonna make your life so much easier later when you try to move this whole thing. So as you guys can see right here, there is the ball joint. You push down on it and pull out towards you. With that, this is free to move now. So once you do rotate this plastic piece out of the way to get access to the fuel pump cover, it won't catch on this and you'll be able to actually rotate it. The first time I didn't remove it and it was just a pain to get it out. Next up, we're going to remove the 4 screws holding this whole plastic piece into place. Or not screws, they're actually nuts. But with that, there's one right here and one right here. And same thing goes on the other side. Once you have those removed, the first time I unscrewed these, they were a little tight. But this time they seem to be coming off a little bit easier already. I'm not sure if that's good or bad. But we're gonna quickly remove those. And with that, we can then start taking apart some other things in the front. Now let's head over to the other side. Same thing goes for this side. Just right here. And this one right here. And with those out of the way now, you should be able to lift this up while not remove it completely because there's still cables and everything holding it into place. But you should be able to lift it up enough to get it out of the way. Let's see, this one right there. It's a little on the tight side, but it is loose. So just be not too harsh with it, just a little gentle. And with that, I should be able to then remove this piece right here. Shouldn't be quite as tight with pressure right there. As you can see, this can come out. And we're good to go with that. There is still this rubber piece right here. I'm gonna try to take this whole thing apart this time without removing that. But if you do have to remove it, there's little push tabs right there. One in the front, same thing on this side. You push both of those or all 4 of those in. And then you can just simply remove them and remove the little rubber piece there as well. Okay, now we get to the fun part. Let's see if I can show you guys. Right there, you see this little antenna? That you have to remove because that cable is gonna keep your whole plastic piece from turning enough. And there's also, let's see if it will focus, right there. There's a cable tie. Last time I unscrewed that bolt, well, not 100% on purpose, but it was already loose. I tried it with my hands, with my fingers, and I got it to start coming off. There's a nut in there keeping that into place. So what I'm gonna do this time is I am just simply gonna untie it and retie it later on because that's gonna make it a little simpler and I don't have to worry if it's tight enough again later. But with that removed, as you can see, the cables are free. You're also gonna remove that antenna. Now, if anybody knows what this antenna is actually for, do let me know because I am curious. I would assume it's something with GPS, but I'm not 100% sure. So let's get this loose as well. There's 2 little nuts holding this into place. Very simple. Remove those 2 and you get access. Can remove that and you're good to go. Now, as mentioned before, I'm gonna place these nuts back onto the original place so I don't lose them. Also, so I don't lose their place where they go. Now with that removed, we're gonna place this antenna somewhere a little closer in here so that we can actually move this whole plastic piece. Now with all of that removed, plastic covers are off like last time. These are all loosened up, side covers are off. The antenna is now taken apart. I think I should be able to lift it up and rotate the plastic piece out of the way so I can get access to the fuel hatch. Let's give this a try. And remember this plastic piece, the rubber piece that I said? Yeah, we're gonna have to remove that. So while you're in the process of taking everything apart here in the front, just get that out of the way as well, because in the end there's just no way around it. You need that space. It's a little tighter than I had expected. Push those tabs in like I mentioned beforehand, and just remove the little clips. Those two are done. Now there's two in the front here, and just like that those two are out as well. And my screwdriver broke. No way. I like you guys, so you're gonna have to stay on there. Now remove those two clips as well. It's a little bit of a tighter fit, and it'll also be noticeable that it is tighter once you do try to place it back in later. I noticed that the first time. Remove that clip and remove this clip right there. Take this out, and now you have more room. Now attempt number 2. Get this cable out of the way, lift this whole thing up, rotate it, and you should be good to go. Right there. Make sure not to scratch the radio too much, but moving all of that out of the way, you now get access to your little hatch. Alright, next up we're gonna remove the whole fuel pump assembly. So we're just gonna quickly get everything out of the way. Let's get up and take you guys inside. Where's my light? Back there. Okie dokie. Got it. I'm just gonna put it right down in there. Remember this cable? Last time I may or may not have pinched it. You have no proof of that. Well, you do have proof of that. Dang it. So let's start by removing this clip and also this fuel filter. Didn't show that last time because it's really hard to get to, but let's go. I need a flat screwdriver. Okay, now let's get to taking the whole fuel pump assembly out. I have my GoPro in there, so you guys should be able to see as well. Now last time I took this cover off, not necessary. You just push in this little tab and you should be able to remove it. Yeah. What was it? Push in? Or was it? Yep, you need to push that in at the top, loosen it up, and you should be able to remove it. Get that out of the way. This cable, make sure you don't clamp that in while you put it back. It's a little bit annoying. It is right in the way of everything, but just get that kind of out of the way for now, and make sure not to damage that while you put everything back together later. And next up we have, okay, this thing is really annoying right there. Next up we have the fuel clamp. This is a bit of a pain. Now there is two little tabs on the side. You're probably not going to be able to see it because my hands are in the way, but you have to remove both of those on this side right here, as you guys can see. With this you should be able to lift it up, and it has the same thing on the other side. Now a big issue with this is every time you want to do it on one side, the other side kind of pushes it back and it just doesn't want to go. Last time, if I turned it sideways, let's see, you do need both hands for this. So last time I kind of got it to work by turning it completely sideways. No, that's not how you work. Right there, and then you push out the bottom there as well. Yeah, it's a little tricky. There you go. Got it? No, don't got it. Yes, got it. There you go. As you can see, it pushes right up, you should be able to kind of just take that off. Good. Now with that out of the way, do be a little careful, there's still some fuel in there. I like to pull it out all the way to this side, that way I can put it up higher than the rest so it doesn't flow out. And we can get to unscrewing all of these little things. This should be the last little screw right there. And then you can remove the clamp out of the way. Now this clamp does have a notch right here and also a notch right there, which you do have to be careful of. Make sure to put that pump in the same direction you take out. So just take note where the hose is coming into so that you know the general direction. There's a notch there and there which line up with the clamps. But let's get this fuel filter out. This was a bit of a challenge last time and it seems like it's not gonna be any easier this time. So don't just pull it out. There is a little container basin at the bottom there, which you need to gently find the correct position to remove it. So just slowly turn it around, wriggle it around until you can lift it up. And I thought this was... It does seem like it doesn't want to go, but I know there is one position right there. See? Told you, just be gentle. Make sure you don't break the level sensor off as well. It does help lifting up the plastic a little bit, giving you a little bit extra room. And as you guys can see, this little wire here, make sure not to bend that because that is your fuel sensor, your fuel gauge. So you really don't want to get that all messed up. So gently just twist it around until you can get the whole thing out of the basin there. Now it is a little bit of a puzzle. I'm sorry if my hands are in the way, if you guys can see anything. Now why can't I lift you up? Make sure that this ring either stays in place, or if you do take it out, make sure to place it in before your thing next time. Didn't do that last time. Okay, there we go, got it. Now all that's left is the float and everything's out of the place. So we're gonna remove this. Also, do clean up, if you're gonna remove it, do clean up this whole section. I didn't do that last time, so there was a little bit stuck in there. This is the fuel pump assembly. As I mentioned, make sure not to bend this little float. And let's get everything cleaned up and replace the fuel filter that is right here on the bottom. Okay, with the fuel pump assembly removed, down here you have the fuel pump, right down here you have the fuel filter. Now we're gonna remove all of this, and as I mentioned in my last video, I was gonna get better at filming, and I hope this time I'm gonna actually capture everything. So to remove the bottom basin, you have a clip right there and also a clip inside of here right there. I'm not sure if you're going to be able to see it, if it's going to focus or not, but right down there you have a clip which you need to compress, and then you should be able to remove this. But before we do that, we are gonna gently try to get some of the fuel out that is still in here. And if you watched my last video, yeah, there we go. As I mentioned, you shouldn't just pour it out onto the yard, so I actually got a container this time. I may make a mess. Don't tell my wife I'm using our little table that we normally use to eat on. I'm gonna clean it up perfectly later, so don't worry about it. But let's just get some of that fuel out, then we'll remove the bottom basin. We'll also take out the pump again. Make sure to blow some air through it, clean everything out just in case there is any debris in there. There we go. Most of that is out. So let's get to removing it. First one, as I mentioned, there's a little bit of a clip right here holding it into place. Once you have that out, go to the other side. Now this one, yeah, it's not gonna reach, so we're gonna use our other pliers a little bit longer. Push it right in there. This one's a little tricky. Not sure if it was necessary to make it this hard to get to, but they did. Push those together and that comes out. You can then just pull out at the bottom and there we go. This is the fuel filter. Now if you remember my last video, you saw me cleaning it and it doesn't look too bad. Well, compared to the new one, it doesn't look great. As you guys can see, there is a little bit of grime in there, but it's not as bad as last time. So that's a good sign. Quickly clean that out. That's good to go now. And let's also, while we're at it, quickly get this pump out. There is a little clip right here. You push that side to get it out. Remove the cable. Now a trick I have is to put your fingernail underneath it. And then you have 1, 2, 3, 4 little clips holding it into place. And you just push it out. 1, 2, 3, and 4. You remove the bottom cover. And you can remove the pump. Make sure to not lose your O-ring. Right here. You really need that. So now that you have everything taken apart, I am gonna blow through the fuel pump. Yeah, nope, never mind. You're gonna do it through that way. There we go. My compressor is now again quiet. And now that we've blown through this hole as well, out everything out of here, so there should be no debris in here as well, we are gonna reinstall the pump. Take your little O-ring, make sure to clean it if it is dirty. Apparently my table isn't very clean, so we're quickly, actually we're probably gonna, oh, that should be okay. Right there, install it back into its original place. Take your pump, also get that back installed right there. And with that we should be able to put the cover back on. Now while you do put the cover on, make sure not to get those cables stuck in there anywhere so that they get pinched. But other than that, it's pretty easy. Hook your cables back into the cable support down here. It's a little challenging, but see, open it up with your fingernail, it works great. Right there, plug it back in. And now this whole thing should be good to go. Unless this is the pump that is continuing failing when it is hot, it should be fixed with the fuel filter change. But if you do need to change the fuel pump, that would be that piece right there. So it would be this whole process again. So I'm really hoping that this is actually gonna fix it. Let's open this up. Open the new fuel filter. And as you guys can see, big difference. We're gonna get this installed right there. Why is it so tight? No, it does go on. The new one is a bit tighter than the old one, but there we go. New fuel filter is on, should be good to go. Make sure that the container is clean. Put the fuel filter in there. Line up the two tabs. Click it into place on both sides. Make sure it's all the way in. And now the fuel pump assembly is ready to be installed again in the Kawa. So let's get to doing that now and test it out. So with everything cleaned out, I also cleaned the fuel assembly, the O-ring, and also the whole area around it. I just took a cloth, an old shirt, just like this one, dipped it in a little bit of fuel and washed it around, and I just tossed it onto the floor. Don't do that. Make sure that you do be careful. So we are quickly gonna clean this again. I just took an old shirt, cleaned off the whole area, also cleaned out the O-ring again, since I just tossed it onto the ground. And with that, I think we should be good to go. Now, last time, I made the mistake of not putting in the O-ring before my fuel pump. So that's what we're gonna put in first. So the first thing we're gonna do is add that O-ring. Make sure it is nice and lined up. Right there. Also gonna add a light right there. You can probably see a little better now, and it seems like it is a little big for that whole place, but you should be okay. So right there, as you guys can see, lined up. And let's add our fuel pump. Now, same thing as before, you don't want to bend that piece of metal with the float. And it is a little bit of a puzzle getting it inside. It is possible. I tested it once already. It is a little bit of a challenge, and I'm not exactly sure how I got it in. Oh, right there. Yep, my GoPro is in the way, but that's okay. Now this one, we just bring it in. Now, one thing I should mention, if you're doing this for the first time, do take out all your old fuel and replace it with new fuel. If there's any grime on the bottom there, do clean it out. I did that in the last video. So in theory, the fuel in here is completely fresh. Shouldn't be dirty. I filtered it all through a cloth as well. That is why I am not going to be removing it again. But if you're doing this for the first time, do remove all of it. Clean out your tank once and make sure that all your dust and debris is not actually stuck in there. So let's quickly get this back. And remember what I said with the tabs? Those do need to line up. So once you have everything into place, you can take your clamp. Now, this one's very simple. You line up the top tab, make sure your holes are lined up, and if everything is lined up, it should fit perfectly. And these little screws that we had beforehand as well, we are gonna put those in. Now, one thing I noticed last time, I had a bit of an issue with some of them fitting in. I'm not sure if it's because of the O-ring. I also had this cable clamped in underneath it last time, so that was a little bit annoying. But we're gonna put this into the hole, and right there. And now all that's left to do is tighten them. I am gonna suggest you tighten them in a star pattern, just so that they are nice and tight. We are gonna do it hand tight first, and then we're gonna tighten them completely later on. And last but not least, the one behind the spout. There. Now what we're gonna do is go around in a circle, just to make sure that all of them are actually tight, that I didn't miss any of them. And we are done. All right, let's finish up quickly installing the rest. All that's left to do is plug it in and also connect the hose again. So let's get that hose fished through here. Right there. Now, this cable I think was over top of it, or was it underneath it? I'm not quite sure, but we are gonna put it over top right here. This whole thing, no, we're gonna put it underneath it just to be on the safe side, the way it was beforehand, just like this. There we go. And you hooked it in. Yeah, there we go, right there. Push that hose on nice and tight, push it down, pull on it, see if it's gonna come loose. It's not gonna come loose. And now we just need the connector from this one. We're gonna put that on right there. And with that, the pump is now back in place, ready to go. Now let's get everything put back together the way it was. I think we are now done down here. We should be okay, good to go. And I still have half a tank of fuel. That should be more than enough to test it out. And where did I put that cover? Right here. Let's place this cover back on. It only goes on one way. Get everything else put back together. Same thing we did before, just in reverse. So it's not all too hard. Twist it back into place, put your antenna up in the front, put everything back, and we should be ready to test it out. We're gonna put this thing back into place, just like that. Make sure to line up all these screws and to be a little careful, that antenna fell down. This right here, as I mentioned, it had fallen down. Not very good, but you know, it didn't see it when it did fall. So let's get this whole thing back into place. Now with this antenna, you have to make sure that the cable goes to the inside, same way you took it out. But if you didn't pay attention to it, then just so you know, the cable does go towards the steering column, right there. Just like that, the antenna is back in place. Get this cable tie back into place. It's a couple times around and into the center. There we go. Now bring this whole place a little forward. Line that up right there. And I have to get my light out here first. There we go. Also make sure to line up this side. Other side I did line up already. This side was a little crooked. There we go. And we have it back in place. That's our breather hose. It is loose, it's not kinked anywhere. Now, same thing as before. First you put in your washers on both of those screws. You have 2 nuts right there and right there. Get those tightened. Now, before you continue on with anything, remember the little cable here on the side. Don't forget to hook that up. Now, if you can't see the cable right here, you can just pull on it. And if you pull on it, you should be able to pull it right out like that. So there you have access to it again. As you guys can see, we're gonna bring this up, down a little bit, or I guess put it into reverse slightly. Make sure to line it up. It's a little tight right here, but with a little bit of fidgeting around, you can line it up and you should be good to go. And do make sure to actually connect that before you put the side panel on, because once the side panel is on, it does cover this hole. Now let's get this side cover back on. Remember, take out the screw you placed in beforehand. It won't fit without taking that out. Also these two. And well, for the side panels, you can't really mess them up, so I guess I don't really need to mention it. but the one for the left side is the one that does have the holes for the reverse and forwards. So really it is pretty simple to remember which side goes where. Also, they only fit on one way, so if yours doesn't fit, just switch it around and you should be good to go. Now, the easiest way I found this was to slide it in from the back. And remember that I mentioned beforehand, if you press on the back lever, you get a little more room to push this in. Without that, it won't quite fit, but with that, you're good to go. Now, one thing I did notice last time, what I screwed up a little bit, was that I didn't hook in the little clips at the top here. And in the front, make sure to line up your screw. It needs to go a little further forward. There we go. Make sure to line up your top here as well so that it does click into place. And just like that, we should be good to go. And it looks like we have visitors from our neighbors who actually helped me a lot. He gave me the whole spark plugs. That was our neighbor, really great guy. He helped me with the spark plugs that we have replaced as well. He had a set laying from the States, which are a little bit better than the ones that we can get here in Paraguay. And yeah, he's been really helpful. Anything I need, I can go to him with. He also has a Kawa. He has the 260 Ultra, or is it just the 260? I'm not quite sure. It's a little bit of an older model, but really helpful, really great. And so yeah, let's get this last little bit of plastic on. A little bit of a trick for these ones. Once you push them in, they come like this, as you guys can see, that there, with the little piece right there on the outside. You're gonna push that through all the way so that it comes out there. That way you can put these into the plastic, and then you push this in so that it is straight. That way it holds the plastic piece in place until the next time you need to remove it. Now, remember when I said that I was gonna show you guys a more efficient way to do this? Yeah, I didn't mean a more perfect way, but let's give it a shot anyways. Maybe it'll be just enough grace area that I am gonna be able to fit everything on without having to remove that again. Now let's add these seats to it. Seat number 1, seat number 2. And with that, we should be ready to test it out. I will hook it up to the truck, get it into the water, and let's see if it now fixed the problem completely.
Yeah. I'm the legend, got the gold in my possession. No doubt in my mind, no question. I hold the keys to my successes. Greatness lives inside of me. Cut me open, bleed royalty. I've never known defeat, that's for the weak. For the throne, you better show loyalty. Nothing can stand in my way. I look it right in the face. I'm never slowing down, yeah, I'm winning this race. Can't hold me back, can't hold me down. It's time for me to own it now. I'm on a whole new level. surprised and shocked to see. Jury on the move, take the plea. I'm about to raise, so take a knee. It's reality, not make believe. Making waves, can't stop me now. I'm taking names, then I'll take a bow. Never throw the towel, I own the crowd. I'm coming in and I'm getting loud. Nothing can stand in my way. I look it right in the face. I'm never slowing down, yeah, I'm winning this race. Can't hold me back, can't hold me down. It's time for me to own it now. I'm on a whole new level. I'm on a whole new level. I'm on a whole new level. Never stopping, yeah, I got it, I won't slow down. Feeling mighty, got the power, I'm the king now. Never stopping, yeah, I got it, I won't slow down. Got the power, I'm the king now. I'm on a whole new level. I'm on a whole new level. I'm on a whole new level. Watch me go, go, never slow, slow. Make 'em whoa, whoa. Watch me go, go, go. Watch me go, go, never slow, slow. Make 'em whoa, whoa. Watch me go, go, go. Ready, set, go. Ready, set, go. Running in the fast lane, rolling with the hit squad, shining like gold, tear up the road, lighting up the runway, electric like Tesla, future even better, shooting like stars, turbocharged, I'ma go get that. Cruising, throttle, turn up, let's go, hit it, nitro, let it cycle, whoa. Watch me go, go, never slow, slow. Make 'em whoa, whoa. Watch me go, go, go. Watch me go, go. Never slow, slow. Make 'em whoa, whoa. Watch me go, go, go. Ready, set, go. Wheels like thunder, cut like ninja. Can't match my speed, burn no heat, set on fire. Vroom, vroom, rev it. Tires sweating, winning this race, born for the chase, never second. Cruising, throttle, turn up, let's go. Hit it, nitro, let it cycle. Whoa. Watch me go, go, never slow, slow. Make 'em whoa, whoa. Watch me go, go, go. Watch me go, go, never slow, slow. Make 'em whoa, whoa. Watch me go, go, go. Ready, set, go. Ready, set, go. Go.
So a quick little update. As you guys can see, we now have two Seadoo Trixxes right there. Spark Trixx, I guess you should say. Right there and right there. That's a 2018 model with about 13-14 hours on it. That's a 2019 model with a little over 300 on it that we had already, that we traded in for our Kawasaki. That means that fuel filter video is now the last video we're gonna be posting for Kawasaki, or I guess for the Kawa. But we will be posting more content on that one. I had an electrical issue with it, and with that one, maintenance, stuff like that, getting everything set up. I will be posting that stuff on this channel right here as well. So make sure to subscribe, like for more content like this, and stay tuned as we will be posting a video on fixing the electrical issues on that Seadoo.